Okay, so welcome to our gentle yoga class. We're going to start by lying down. If you have some sort of blanket or bolster and you'd like to roll that up and put it underneath the lumbar of your spine, you can do that. Sometimes first thing in the morning, that's a little bit too much, but you decide. It depends on how big your bolster or your blanket is. But just for feeling a little bit of extra support to sink into. And then you can begin in regular Shavasana, just begin in Shavasana, or you can have your knees bent if that's more comfortable. And close the eyes. Or, I mean, you're in your own home. Keep the eyes open if you like. Closing the eyes will help you focus a little bit more inward. And just begin to breathe. We've been talking this week about abundance. And not just abundance in general, but receiving abundance or being open to receive in abundance. And this is very much, a manifestation thing or just a gratitude thing, which when people talk about having an attitude of gratitude and how that changes life, that's very real. So whatever comes to mind right now and what you need abundance in, it could just be an abundance of self-care or self-worth, maybe time, money, friendship. Money is sometimes looked at in the yoga world as being a bad thing, but it's not. Money is not evil. It's an energetic exchange that helps us help ourselves and other people. So it's okay to want an abundance of money in your life as well. It's the people that make it evil sometimes. So you can imagine filling the body up, even if it's an abundance of healing or breath, just feel full right now, full and nurtured and open. Sometimes we want an abundance of things, but somewhere in our mind, there's a contract that we've written with ourselves that says, I can't, or I can't picture myself like this, or maybe I don't deserve this. Things that are really just in the subconscious that we're not realizing. And so those things don't come to us. We're going to use a mantra or an affirmation this morning as you lie here for a few more moments, because we're going to just take it slow and simple for this gentle class. But what I want you to think is, I am open to receive abundance in my life. I am open to receive abundance in my life. And if there's something specific that you need abundance in, you can fill in that blank. Feel your breath getting deeper and longer. And feel the breath touch every part of the body. We're going to stay here for a few more breaths. And so any blockages that are known or unknown, we're going to burn those away on the mat this morning. And we're going to stay in this mindset of abundance in our practice. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. Separate the lips and exhale. And then bring the arms overhead. You can keep the eyes closed. Just bring the arms overhead. If your knees are bent, straighten them out. And let's start with a long stretch. Bring the arms down, bend the knees. And we're just going to start by bringing the right ankle to the left thigh. And before we grab anything or, maybe bring our knee towards the body, just circle the ankle. Just get some rotation and circulation going in the bottom part of the leg. Rotate the ankle clockwise and counterclockwise. Maybe point the toes, flex the foot, just move it around. And then go ahead and interlace the fingers behind the left leg. Keep the feet flexed. And if you're feeling a stretch already here, with the foot down, you can stay there, or you can start to bring the knee towards the body and just breathe. Keep the shoulders soft, the jaw soft. We'll take one or two more breaths here. And then go ahead and release the feet back down on the mat. Other side, left ankle to the right thigh. Just stay here first and rotate the ankle, point the toes, flex the foot. And then go ahead and interlace behind the right leg. Keep both feet flexed. And even if your eyes are closed still, see if you can, it's just not a big movement, but just kind of tilt or shift the left knee away from the body to straighten out the pelvis a little bit. And then find your breath. Follow the inhale and the exhale. Try to keep your mind present in your practice this morning. Another breath or two. And then go ahead and release both feet down to the mat. Straighten the left leg and hug the right knee. So bring the knee up towards the body. Hug it up there as close as you can get. And then we're going to keep the knee with our right hand and bring our left hand on top of the left thigh. So we're just supporting our knee as we rotate towards the body, up and out to the right, just to open up this hip. Keep the foot flexed. Keeping the foot flexed is actually going to keep your quadriceps engaged. So you're not just unstable stretching the hip joint. That's very important. We always need a strengthening muscle, an antagonist muscle. One more breath here. And then go ahead back to center. And now we're going to switch hands and actually bring us into a twist in the other direction. So extend the right arm and then just start to bring this knee off the left side of the mat. Only go as deeply as your spine is happy doing so. You can continue to keep the eyes closed, looking straight up. You can look over the right hand if that pleases you. Keep the right shoulder heavy. And then we'll go ahead and come back to center. So inhale back, bring the foot down. And now we're going to bring it to the floor like a supine tree. So right knee out to the right, bring the arms overhead. Left leg is active. We're going to breathe here. If you're not feeling an opening, because this is getting into the adductors here too, the inner thigh, activate the glutes and push the hips up towards the ceiling. Keep the left toes up towards the ceiling. And we're still just opening the lungs here. You can keep your mind focused on the sensation or the breath. We're doing 2 more breaths here. And then exhale, bring the arms down. Take the right knee, support it as you bring it up towards the ceiling and straighten that right leg. Good. Now hug the left knee, bring it up towards the body as far as you can. You can be pushing through the extended leg as you bring the left knee towards the body. And then we're going to bring this knee out to the side. So support with the left hand. The right hand's going to go on top of the right thigh. Bring the left knee up, rotate it out to the left. Keep your awareness on the hip joint. Try to soften it, but keep the foot flexed so you know that you're stabilized. The more you do yoga, this interesting thing happens where you can start to isolate different parts of the body and get very, very specific. So it's something for your brain to work on and something for the body to grow into. One more breath here. And bring it back to center, switch hands. So right hand is going to guide this knee off the right side of the mat. Left arm extends. Only go as far as you like. Not you, your body. Sometimes it's 2 very different things. But you guys might be experiencing this already. I mean, when you first come to the mat, it's more about being self-conscious or like, how am I going to remember these poses and things like that? Trying to get your breath regulated more often. And then you can start to dig deeper. And it's a really, really neat thing. Going into different types of advanced poses is not necessarily advancing in yoga. It's going deeper inside. Go ahead and exhale, come back to center. We're going to bring this knee or the foot down, the left foot down, and then open up into that supine tree. Okay, arms up overhead. Lots of stuff lying on our back for a winter morning. Activate the glutes to push the hips up if you need more. And then the right toes, be sure they're up towards the ceiling. That leg is active, and breathe. Go ahead and bring the arms down. Support your left knee coming back up towards the ceiling. Bend both knees. And then let's rock, separate the feet so your knees can rock in a staggered way, left to right. And then we're going to stop the rocking and bring both knees up to the chest. Be sure that you lift the tailbone so the lower back can be flat. Soften the belly and rock left to right. And really get into squishing the lower back into the mat. And then bring the feet down. We'll roll onto our side and push ourselves up. I guess we're ready to sit up. Cross the legs. Not as you would normally have it. Go ahead and switch. Find some balance there. Inhale, bring the arms up. We're going to rotate to the right and exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, center. Rotate left, exhale down. Again, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. We're going to inhale back to center. And then peel the hands apart as you exhale. Start to peel the hands apart. Fingertips are going to point down like you're pushing the walls away from you. So come all the way down to shoulder level and extend through the palms. This is just a wrist stretch. Try to keep the shoulders as soft as you can. Another breath. And then inhale back to center. Coming into a twist here, a little bit deeper twist. So exhale, grab the right knee with your left hand and rotate to the right. Next inhale, let's go back to center. And then exhale, grab the knee. Keep the spine tall as you rotate. And then we're just going to come back to center normally here. So back to center, right hand is going to be placed on the mat or fingertips, whatever works. You can always use a block here too if you want flat hands, just so you know. Inhale the left arm up. And then exhale, support yourself as you reach to the right. Opening up the side body. No need to press the sitting bone down into the mat. Just let it lift if it wants to lift. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, lean to the left. The left hand is supporting you, elbow is bent. Reach as far as you can. Opening the right side of the body. Breathe into the right lungs. Like there's two sets on each side. The right lung minus the S. Exhale, come back down. Good. We're just going to walk the fingertips forward. Doesn't matter how far you go here. And the bum is going to lift a little bit. Let it. The more you walk forward, the more you're going to feel something in the outer leg or maybe the inner thigh. It depends on where you're tight. But just fold as far as you can. Shoulders back. And then inhale up, walk the fingers or the hands back and switch legs, whichever one was on top. That one will go on the bottom now. And then we'll walk forward again. Get nice and tall, engage the bandhas like we do, and walk the fingertips forward, keeping the spine long. Sometimes the legs just stop us from going forward. But even if you come down to your forearms or something like that, just do what feels good here. Folding forward is always very calming for the nervous system, not in a way that's going to make you want to go to sleep, just in a way that balances you out. Inhale up, walk the hands back. The more the body gets used to feeling that balanced state, the less weird it feels for us. I know for me personally, I come from a long line of chaos. So chaos is what feels good for me. That stress would feel good. So the nervous system just needs to get used to that balance. As Robin, as you experienced in the restorative class, right? The first one drove you crazy, and then now you finally it's like felt good. Go ahead and come to hands and knees, curl the toes under. We're just going to kind of sit back on the heels for a minute. I know this can be very uncomfortable, so just do the best you can and kind of roll the toes from big toe to pinky and try to squish the toes onto the mat. Just to wake up the feet a little bit more. If this hurts a lot, I'm going to recommend that you get a tennis ball and start rolling your feet. Even if you're just standing talking on the phone, just step on a tennis ball and do something like this with the toes and the arch. Go ahead and come to hands and knees. And Marina, you already know your modifications if you're still, if you have to go to forearms. First, let's tap the tops of the feet onto the mat just to loosen up what we just did with the crunching, the toe torture pose. And then we're going to separate the knees and we're going to come into child's pose first. So sit back on the heels. If you push the mat away from you with your hands, that'll push the sitting bones closer to the heels. And then if you can bring forehead to the floor, that's great. If you need a block or use your fists, that's fine too. Let's breathe here. If your arms are extended forward, palms face up. This is getting close to our abundance mudra, which we're going to do here shortly. So just be in receiving mode. One more breath. And then inhale, look up, palms go back to the mat. We're just going to lift ourselves up and forward. So forearms are going to stay. We're going to keep the sitting bones lifting up now and come into this puppy pose. So try to get the chest or the chin or the forehead as close to the mat as you can as you extend the arms forward. Just a really deep stretch for the spine. And see if you can bring your awareness to the spine and soften the entire torso so your spine can sink into the back. And you can almost feel those muscles just releasing and softening. One more breath here. Inhale, look up. Walk the hands towards the body. We're coming to hands and knees for threading the needle. So left hand to the center of the mat. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, slide it under. Know what your options are here. You're either reaching, having a 90-degree angle with the left hand, or you can bring the left hand behind the back, or you can bring it up and over the mat. Whatever's best for your, you're in a twist, but you also want to kind of get a stretch in that right shoulder blade or shoulder socket. Three more breaths here. And then inhale to come up. Move slowly, mindfully, right hand to the center. Inhale the left arm up and exhale, slide it under. Decide where your arm is good here and breathe. Inhale, come up. Good. And let's do a little Beetalasana or cat pose here before we come to standing. So move the shoulders, the hips, and then do your inhale, drop, and your exhale, arch. We'll do 2 more rounds. And then we'll meet with a neutral spine, flat back. Good. Okay, let's bring the hands a little bit forward, just like a palm length, so we can curl the toes under and get the hips up and back. Coming into downward facing dog here. And then begin to pedal the feet. Really spend some time here on the back of the legs. You know, bend the left knee, press the right heel, and vice versa. And then go ahead and stop the pedaling, lengthen through the tailbone. Still keep the knees bent if you need to, though. And then we'll inhale to look up and step forward. Get up there however you have to. Exhale, fold forward. Separate the feet, grab opposite elbows. Let's hang here for a moment. Just drop the head completely. Where the neck is just completely letting go. The head is dangling. Bring the fingertips back to the mat. Inhale to look up. Good. Now bring your hands to your thighs, just so we can move slowly. Bend the knees slightly. Inhale, come all the way up. Palms together. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. We're going to go through 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar A. We'll take a breath here first. You can keep your hands in front of your heart. You can close your eyes. You can even tell yourself you have an abundance in your hamstrings, right? Whatever it is, just feel filled to the top today. Go ahead and release the hands. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. And exhale, step back. Go to your knees if you need to lower the body evenly, all the way down. Inhale to a cobra, so just lifting the chest, neck, head. And then child's pose or down dog for 5 breaths, you choose. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You'll inhale, look up, and whatever you chose, we're just going to meet at the front of the mat. Take your time. And then we'll exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Palms together. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. Bring the arms to the sides of the body. We'll do that 1 more time. So inhale, reach up and move with your breath. Full inhale. And then full exhale. Inhale, look up. And exhale, step back. Chaturanga down. Inhale, lift to a cobra. And then exhale, you choose where you want to be for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, curl your toes under, back to downward facing. Okay, yeah, just you guys both chose child's pose. So it worked where you could go smaller, but yes, we'll meet at the front of the mat and then exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up and palms together. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Okay, so I want to show you this abundance mudra, Sahara mudra. So your palms go together, fingertips stay together, and you just open up the palms with the thumbs out, just like you're receiving, right? So fingertips touch, thumbs actively open, and so you have this bowl of receiving. So we're gonna do that at the front of the mat. So come into your receiving mudra. And this is not, I mean, this is for support, you know, confidence, whatever it is that comes to mind. Certainly by now, something has bubbled to the surface. And you're just going to hold that near the body. Come into your Tadasana legs or your mountain pose legs. And if you're comfortable closing your eyes here, go ahead and close the eyes. Okay, you're just going to be standing with awareness in your alignment, also with your mudra. And I want you to imagine receiving, you know, it could be just a flow of energy, it could be flower petals, it could be gold coins, just different representations of what you need. We're going to take 5 breaths here. Bring the palms back together, hands in front of the heart. Bring the left leg back so we can come into warrior 1. So left leg comes back, front knee bends. And then we're going to inhale, bring the arms up. And then exhale, actively pull the elbows back as you pull down, opening up the heart and the chest. We'll take 3 breaths here. Press the outer edge of the back foot, the inner edge of the front foot. Bring the hands down, fingertips behind you, and start to lean forward. We're going to really rely on this front foot to come into warrior 3, but always keep a little bend in the knee, okay? Maybe you lift the back leg. Find your focus point. Don't take your eyes off of it and breathe. If you want to go further today, you can bring the leg up. You can use a wall, or you can just keep your toes down. Try to take 1 more breath here. And then bring both feet together and come back to standing. Good. Right leg back. Warrior 1 on the other side, bend the front knee. The reason we're pressing the inner edge of the front knee is because that helps the knee stay open so it doesn't collapse in. We want the knee to be directly over the second and third toe. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, open. Pull the elbows back. Palms are open, fingers are spread. 3 breaths here. Fingertips down, pointing back, come into your warrior 3. So toes can stay on the ground, or you can play with lifting up. And then And bend both knees, bring the feet back together, come back to Tadasana. The really cool thing about that and other balancing poses too is that you feel your knee wobbling, or not your knee, your ankle wobbling so much, right? When you're doing balancing stuff, which feels like you just don't have your balance, but that is your, I mean, just think about how strong your bones are getting from having to do that, you know, to support your body weight. It's just super cool. Let's go ahead and take a wide stance on the mat. Grab your block. You might need it. I honestly don't think either of you will, but who knows? Just in case. You're going to place the block on the floor. We're going to do our wide leg forward fold. I want you to look at the inner edges of the feet and make sure that they are pointing straight forward, perpendicular to the front of your mat. Hands on the waist, activate the legs, press the ankles in, lift the butt, the thighs, all of that. And now lengthen. Exhale, fold forward, send your hips back. Keep lifting the sitting bones. And then bring your hands to the block. If you're already grown out of the block, bring your fingertips to the mat. And then we're just going to do our thing where we keep lengthening through the crown of the head and folding. But give your hamstrings some time to warm up to you. And just take it slowly until you feel like you've reached your limit. Make sure your head is dropped completely, shoulders back. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. If you have a tendency to lock out your knees, shift your weight forward to the balls of your feet to help you engage the muscles instead. Inhale, look up. Walk your hands over to the right foot. Let the inner thigh on the left leg lengthen. Walk your hands over to the left foot. So the left knee might bend a little bit. Get this right leg nice and strong, or nice and long. Come back to center. Keep your head lifted. Bring your hands to your waist. And inhale, come all the way up. Bring the right toes out 90 degrees. We're going right into a warrior 2 here, but we won't stay here long. Bend into the right knee. Come into your almost side lunge. Left shoulder comes back. Extend the arms. Look over the right fingertips as your focus point or your drishti. Take a quick look down at your knee. Make sure you can see your big toe. We're going to reverse this. So drop the left hand, inhale the right arm back. Just one long stretch here. And then exhale back to your warrior 2. Hands on the waist. Straighten the right leg. Pivot on the heel to bring the right toes in. Pivot on the ball of the left foot to bring the heel in for the other side. And then we'll come into our warrior 2 legs first for the other side. Widen your stance if you need to. Make sure you can see your big toe. And then rotate the right shoulder back, extend the arms. Sometimes this right hip needs to tuck under as we release the tailbone. So make sure you're not jetting your right hip out. Drop it and tuck it. We'll reverse it. Inhale, reach back. And then exhale back down. Hands to the waist. Straighten the left knee. Pivot the toes in. You can hop or walk your feet back together. Shake the legs out a little bit. Good. Come back to the front of your mat. We're going to inhale and bring the arms up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to look up. And then exhale, step back. We're going to lower all the way down and stay down. So right arm is our pillow. Stretching the front of the left leg, grab the left ankle. Be sure that your neck is not bent here. You know, you have a neutral neck, so your forehead is being supported by your arm. The different levels of this, of course, you can come up onto your forearm to get a little bit more. Pay attention to the breath. And go ahead and release. Other side. So if you already know that you're pretty flexible or mobile in the hips, just start with your forearm and then grab the right foot. Or you can be resting, because you can just take this as an opportunity to rest as well. Go ahead and release. Bring your hands to the mat. Lift yourself to hands and knees. Sit back in the child's pose here. Big toes together, knees apart. And so you can bring your palms together and drop the palms behind the head. Or you can just come into a ball here. Grab the bottoms of your feet or towards the bottoms of your feet. And on your next exhale, bring the hands back to the mat. Lift yourself to hands and knees. Bring the hands all the way forward. So we can do big hip circles here. So shift forward, side, back, and side. Get as big as you can. Take up space. And then be sure that you're going in both directions. So counterclockwise and clockwise. And then we'll finish up here. Walk our hands back to hands and knees. Cross at the ankles, have a seat. Going back down. So lie down on your back. Just keep the knees bent here for a moment. We are going to do bridge. So heels are going to be pretty close to the sitting bones. Check your shoulder blades to be sure that they're flat. They're not poking into the mat. They're actually nice and flat. So the chest is already lifted here. And you already probably feel a little tilt forward in the pelvis. That's what we want and that's what we need. Activate pressing your feet into the mat and begin to lift. Pelvis up towards the ceiling. You can just stay here. Keep it a simple back bend. Press the inner edges of the feet, or you can take it further by interlacing the fingers, walking the shoulders towards each other, and lifting a little higher. Breathe when you get there. And release. Pelvis down, unwind the spine. We're going to take a breather here. Don't hug the knees, not yet. I'm going to go up one more time. And inhale and lift. Keep breathing, slow, steady breaths. You have an abundance of strength here. And lower. Still don't hug your knees yet. Take a breath first. And then go ahead and hug the knees. We don't want to just automatically undo what we've done in the back bend and the benefits of that. Rock back and forth. One more twist here, and then I think we'll be ready for our Shavasana. So keep the knees up towards the body. You'll have to activate, the abdominals here, but keep the knees bent, extend your arms, and then try to bring the knees up and over to the floor. And if you have a block, if this is too deep of a twist still, take a block and put it under the knees and let the knees rest on the block. Once you arrive, find your breath. We're going to bring it back to center. If you can, use the abdominals to bring the knees back to center, or just keep your feet on the ground. You decide. Do you give a little rock back and forth? And then engage, knees up, and drop them to the right. Take one more breath. And then as you inhale, engage, knees up, rock a little bit left to right, nice and slow. And then do whatever the body needs here. If you want to come into happy baby, you can do that. If you're just ready to bring the feet down and take a stretch, do that. Once you've taken the movement you need, get ready for your Shavasana, and so you can be as comfortable as possible. Once you are in your Shavasana, palms face up, about 6 inches away from the body. Anything that is around you that you might be touching or bumping into, push it off to the side. Take this as your opportunity to let go, separate the ankles, just get as big as you want and get soft. Each breath you take in, feel the body fill up. And each exhale you take, feel the body soften and release into the mat. Every part of the body that's touching the mat, feel it sink. Continue with that sinking feeling. And as thoughts rise up, which they will, Just imagine them on a leaf floating down the river, some sort of act of them just flowing away. And then come back to the breath. As you give yourself the stillness that you need in these next few moments. Allow your inhalations to begin to deepen. When you're ready, begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes, or you can just sit up and breathe. Begin to move the body, bending the knees, taking a stretch. You did good. And then roll onto your right side when you're ready. Use your arm as a pillow. And let the head stay heavy as you push yourself up to a seated position. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for letting me guide you today. The teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in you. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Shaggy sharply took me out of